Do you know what mirror neurons are? No. Okay. So mirror neurons are neurons in your brain that mirror people. And so when you read about them, the example they use is like when people watch sports and they're like, we won. Or for me, when I watch soccer,
You do what you see.
yeah. Monkey see much what they do.
Okay.
So my leg kicks when I'm watching soccer or football. My fucking leg kicks and I'm like, God damn it, it's not me playing.
All right.
So you're very animated.
Now, maybe we should video this.
Oh my God. And I already started like doing your stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, strong. I first noticed my mirror neurons. That is your hand movement. When I was like in high school and somebody, I know it's so bad. I have really
Maybe I
bad.
shouldn't drink coffee and burn myself.
Oh my God, I have really bad mirror neurons. And I catch it all the time. But so somebody was chewing gum.
And you started.
I fucking started chewing. I'm like, I don't even have gum in my mouth.
Oh wow.
Like it's so bad. Which I wonder how that manifests in my, I love that book. Anyway, in my emotional self-intelligence 2.0.
Yes.
In my day-to-day like thought process, like if my mirror neurons are so strong, being a empath, being a psychic, being an intuitive coach, like what are my, and I've told you this, I have to like separate my ego and
Right.
I go and I see what's around and it's like Stephanie's gone. But what happens to the mirror neurons in those moments? Because the only thing that I've ever recognized for myself with mirror neurons is physical
Yeah.
mirroring.
Well-
I never noticed cognitive or emotional mirroring. That doesn't mean it's not happening. I've just never noticed it.
It does. It does in like all your settings, really. Like if you walk into, so if you came in here and I was in a shit mood, right? And you come in here like absolutely happiest person on the planet, and I'm in a bad mood, and all of a sudden like, and you hate the world.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
You want to kick the
Totally.
shit out of everyone before you leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's legitly like how it happens on a regular. Personal relationships, work relationships, all the things.
And that makes so much sense for who I am because I am one of those people that they say, you change the energy when you walk in a room.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I probably have created that within myself intentionally. So I override whatever's going to try and.
You're trying to overcompensate for other people's shitty attitudes?
Yeah,
I like that.
exactly. That's exactly right.
So you're like the hype man.
Yeah. In some settings. But then what you just solved for me is in my own personal relationship and living with the person, you can only be a hype man for so long, especially when your default button is a very strong mirror neuron setting and you're just mirroring back, but you're like, I have to override this, I have to override this, I have to override this, I have to override this.
Well,
Which is probably why I'm like fucking exhausted.
exactly. So like in those situations, like I feel exhausted when so like if my kids come home and they're this one, you hear all the like drama from work and teenage life, and it's a lot.
It's a lot,
right?
yeah.
And then you hear all the other drama from the other kid, and it's just like it drains you.
Yeah.
I have to give myself a amount of time out. Like
Yeah,
take
absolutely.
myself away from it, and like I'll go sit in my bathtub and just stare at a wall
Yeah.
to like decompress from their emotional dump.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have...
I love my children.
No, fuck that. We love our children, but it's not just for you in this situation. It is the children. For me, it's the husband. But in growing up situations, I had this aha moment a couple years ago. But now having this conversation, I recognize because it was so easy to recognize that the mirror neurons were in the physical dynamic.
Right.
But it was like, okay, but again, where do they lie? And a couple years ago, I had this aha moment where when I detached from the family I was raised in and I gave their energy back to them,
Right.
I realized these certain diagnoses
There's a couple sisters.
anyway, that others have no longer resided in me. I was no
Correct.
longer emulating that example or that emotional reactivity or, like, oh, it's not me who fears all
It was
of
your
this.
environment.
It's not me who's depressed. It was absolutely my environment. And
Right.
I didn't recognize it was mirror neurons doing that. There were other things I attributed it to. But it's just interesting how it all falls into place and how there's so many ways that we can connect the dots.
So think of it in like a work setting. So if you go into an office, right, and you've got that one, we all have the one, right? The one.
Yeah, right.
We're just gonna call her Susan. I don't know.
Okay. Susan works.
Unfortunately, the person that I used to work with named Susan.
Not you.
Not you.
I
She
had a
was
Susan
really
too.
bubbly.
But my Susan was really bubbly too.
We're just gonna fake name it. So we're gonna say that Susan is like super toxic, right? So you come into work, everybody had a great weekend, and you have the normal like, hey, let's catch up. Like, what did you do? And everybody's talking. And then Susan walks in, just like this dark cloud, right? And she comes in and like everything is horrible. Her whole life is horrible. Work is horrible. Nothing's going right. She's, the hardest worker. Nobody can keep up. And immediately it changes the entire vibe that everybody's got going on, right? And then pretty soon it just starts to be this thing where everybody wants to avoid Susan because they know as soon as she comes in, she's like a walking like, woo, red flag. Oh, damn, I have a red flag next time. But she's a walking red flag, right? She just brings down everybody in the office. But she thinks in her mind that she's superior, that she's doing all this stuff that nobody else is doing. And she starts to isolate, right? Yeah. Because nobody wants to they don't want to catch her negativity, like the flu.
Right.
Want to catch that. We're gonna sit over here in our happy little bubble and make jokes, and she's just gonna hate her life over here.
Yeah.
But you take that person out, and the team's great.
Right. Okay. You take that person out, the team's great. Now, what I have noticed, and in your profession, you tell me how you would handle that situation, but what I have noticed in my journey being in education for 15 years, when you remove that person completely, don't find a home for them, don't find a place for them, they usually get replaced by something worser. Worse.
Like a dark force.
Maybe two of them instead of one, So I've seen that pattern. Right. And so my question to you is, how do you solve that? Do you find a home for them? Do you find a role for them? And then the other thing is, or do you coach them to kind of be part of the team and get out of their
negative bubble?
Well, it's more than just a negative bubble because how you said they see themselves as superior. So it is this whole entire ego thing that's going on that's keeping them from actually creating community and creating connection. So there's this whole emotional shitstorm.
Right.
So
as far as coaching them, it really depends on the person. So you can't necessarily say that coaching is going to work for everybody. Some people are just automatically, they're negative no matter what. They're negative at home, at work, wherever. And that's a them problem. Because I'm not their therapist, right? It's not my job as the work therapist to come in and solve all your mental issues. Now that being said, I can't come in there and tell them that they have mental issues. Because that's illegal. So can't do that.
Excuse me, Susan. I would like to write prescription.
So you have to come in from an empathetic angle and ask the right questions and understand is there underlying issues outside of work that are causing this person to do this, or is it truly just a work issue? If it's just a work issue, you can coach your way through that. If it's their personality, you can try,
right?
But people can fake it until they can't anymore, and that will start to crack again, and you'll go back into the same circles. So if it really is a workload issue, and you start to recognize that hey, maybe this person actually had some merit to what they were saying, I do everything, and Joe over here doesn't do shit. Okay, maybe we need to shuffle some things around. But if it is just who they are as a human, no, coaching is not. They need to go get professional help to fix whatever underlying shenanigans they got going on.
Right.
Right? So you have to take that one off, like, as you go and see what's happening. If you move them to a different spot, are they going to be happy? Not if that's their personality.
Right. And does that actually solve anything?
No.
So then how do you address the team?
So you would essentially talk to the team too. So understand like what works for them. You know, what are their positives? What do they see as struggles? Because maybe they're just not being vocal about it, right? And understand how that works. And like, what is the team dynamic? Do they all work really well together, or are they faking it? Right. So like, getting really deep with the team and understanding all of that, like understanding the workload, like why would somebody be saying that they do more than everyone else, right? Is it a different level of expertise? Is it just they're a control freak and they take stuff because they don't trust somebody?
Yeah.
Because you see that a lot, where someone will complain that they're doing all the work, right? But they're doing it to themselves.
Yeah.
Because
Totally.
they're like, I don't trust you to do this spreadsheet, or whatever it means, right? So like understanding all of those pieces, and like if they do truly work well as a team and you can take this person out, then unfortunately you're gonna have to like performance that person out.
Yeah.
Because it's bringing down the rest of your team.
Do you ever, and I have this meme going over and over again in my head right now, that the little girl who's trying to put the seatbelt in and the dad goes, can I help you? And she goes, no, thank you. And he goes, can I help you again? And she goes, worry about your own self. Do you ever like go to the team or look at the team as individuals and say, you know, you need to set up your little bubble, almost in the way that the dark cloud is setting up her little bubble, and making it as comfortable as possible for you? Because once you worry about your own self, you can then actually create a bigger dynamic or a better team dynamic, and you can co-create together if you're focused on your part. Does that work in the corporate setting?
I mean, sometimes like you really do need to understand like what relationships they have, like how do they need each other in order to work properly, right? So if our dark cloud over here, doesn't involve themselves in the meeting, or doesn't want to collaborate with anybody, like why? Is this person being excluded, or are they excluding themselves? And then start to ask those questions, right? Like maybe they're just not comfortable. Maybe they don't feel like they can share their ideas in a group setting, so they stay quiet, but they're making it bitter. You know what I mean? So if that's the case, then you start to look at like, okay, how can I help this person be a little bit more comfortable? So, whether it's as the leader, you're meeting with them one-on-one so they have an opportunity, the space, right, to bring their ideas to the table, and then you bring it to the collective group, right? If you think it's a great idea, you bring that out there and you say, hey, this was Susan's idea. She approached me with it. Like, what do you guys think? And typically in that aspect, like this person's going to be like, oh, and kind of freeze and shut down, right? Like, oh shit, they mentioned my name. They're all going to laugh at me, right? Because that's what we think, but we don't. If everybody gets excited about it and they start talking and they're like, oh yeah, that's a really great idea already. This person over here internally is like, my heart is warm,
Yeah.
Oh shit, they really liked it. And then what naturally starts to happen is as you go out of the meeting or whatever setting, these people are going to come up to Susan and say, hey, that was a really great idea. Like, let's brainstorm a little bit more. Like, let's take it a little bit further. And so they start to build that relationship. So
It does just depend. That's what I'm hearing you say. It depends on the group dynamics. It depends on the individuals. I guess from my perspective, when I have this client right now who actually, it's funny because both of them are HR.
okay.
They're just HR it's a very small company. So it's almost like they're HR to themselves. I don't really know how to explain it, but they're not, one's not really superior, but anyway, they have meetings with each other. And my client is going in light and bubbly.
Okay.
And she keeps getting met with resistance. And so not knowing the company, because it's just me, I'm just a private person. I was able to reel her back in and coach her into not expecting anything from that person.
Okay.
Just worry about your own self. Worry about, if this person is taking notes while you're talking to her, try to override your emotional reaction to, she's not even looking at me. She's
Right.
not,
Like take away your prejudgment.
Exactly. And just present it and let her have her reactions. Because what I find a lot of times is when you come into a situation, again, the prejudgment also creates expectation.
Correct.
I'm prejudging you in this way, therefore I expect you to behave this way. So I have to reel him back in and say, don't have to use either of those. Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Just let her have, if she needs time, if she's not going to respond right away. Don't predict or expect a certain dialogue or communication. You do your part and let her have her part. And it totally changed the way that they interacted and the dynamic between the two of them. So my question is, again, because I work one-on-one, just with the individual, is that something in a corporate setting or is that probably just too much, where you can kind of like pull everyone back into their own bubble? So one person's individual bubble is not overriding the whole thing. We're not necessarily functioning as one unit. We're functioning as little units within a unit.
Yes, you can. When it's those individual interactions, you can. It's a lot easier to do it that way. So if you and I are on a team and there's 6 other people on the team, but our communication sucks, right? That's something that we would be pulled aside, whichever, right? So say you went to HR and you're like, oh, Nicole's a bitch, whatever. Like, I don't like how she responds. She doesn't pay attention to me.
She makes my hands do things. She's aggressive.
And so, like, I would ask you the questions like, okay, I need you to give me examples. Like, feelings aside, right? Like, feelings are relevant, but not right now. Like, give me hard data. Like, I need to know, like, what was the interaction? So if you say, okay, she emails me, she's very short. Let me see the emails, right? Okay. Or she has an aggressive tone in her text messages, or, X, Y, Z. Okay, so we're going to start to look at those things. Well, what led up to that, right? And you start to like reverse engineer, kind of investigate what's happening. So when you came at me and asked me a question, were you like, hey, I need to know this right now? Okay.
Yeah.
We all know that when we have a mood, whether we're excited or we're angry or we're sad or any of the other millions of emotions, when you read a text message, you read with that emotion. Mm-hmm. So I could just be like trying to get you your shit as fast as humanly possible because you said you needed it right now.
Right.
But because you were already like at a level of 10 emotionally, you were like, God, this asshole. And that wasn't my intent.
Right. Now there's this whole ripple effect
Yes.
being created and tension that just grows and grows and grows from that moment.
And those are the moments that we start to look at, like, okay, do we need to reassess communication, like appropriate communication with people? Because when we work with people for a long time, we get too comfortable.
Yeah.
We spend more time with them than we do our own families, and we get overly comfortable, and we get really lazy, and we forget that it is a business setting. And so just kind of bringing that to the forefront of like, let's relearn how to talk to humans.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't take everything so personal. It's not your sister calling you an asshole. Like, you're not going to take her back and beat the shit out of her.
Yeah.
You have to work together. So you just look at each individual thing. But it's more so telling people to take their feelings out and look at the data. Like, what actually happened.
And how often do you get resistance to that? Because people
All the
are
time.
so emotional.
All the time.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm not being emotional.
Well, that was emotional.
Well, actually, you kind of are. And so that's why you ask them, like, okay, just take a step back. Like, show me. Because we all feel a lot more comfortable behind our keyboards.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And behind our phones. that is not who we are. So there's
No.
not a lot of
Not in our nature.
it's usually not a face-to-face thing that is the issue. It is the electronic communications that people overread into it.
So I love that you just brought that up because do you have a belief system and do you try to infuse your work? Well, hold on. Let's back up with the
Rewind.
first. I know. Let's just
My
finish-
belief system.
Well, finish the first.
That was pretty deep.
I know. Do you have a belief system of that humans are pack animals? Okay.
I do.
Right. I think that I don't think anyone I feel like that's science, right? Like,
Yes.
we talk about that. Humans
Yep.
are pack animals. We need the community. We need each other. Even in the blue zones and all those studies of centurions, one of the main components of living past 100 is having community.
Yes.
So I don't think anyone would not have that belief system, although
Somebody might try to argue
Right.
you and say, I don't need anyone.
So right, exactly. So moving further into a belief system, would you say it's true that this has destroyed society?
Yes and no.
Okay, I love that.
Yes and no.
Explain both sides.
Yes, in the fact that I feel we use this as an escape from actual human connection. And we can justify, like, I still have a community, right? Like, I have my online friends. I have 3,000 people on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, and so you're like, yeah, I've got people. Do you?
Right.
I mean, yeah, a sprinkling of those people you probably actually have a regular communication with, but the rest of them, if you ran into them on the street, are you gonna be like, hey, Susie, what up? No, I'm on Susie today. But,
Susie's in the air.
like, oh, your kids are doing fabulous, blah, 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 blah. And absolutely not. You're not. You're gonna be like, that person kind of looks familiar. I think I'm friends with them.
I can't even tell you how many times I'm like, you look familiar, but I have no idea why.
But are you just gonna like stop everything you're doing
Yeah.
and be like, I'm gonna go have an in-depth conversation with that person, even though you watch their life,
Yeah.
you literally know the majority of their life, but are you gonna go out of your way to sit down and chat with that person? Absolutely not.
Right, because there's a huge difference between having an update, a status update, and having this, and
Right.
actually spending time and having reciprocal dialogue back and forth. Right, we'll try the easier words.
What if you go talk to her and she's a complete dumbass in real life?
Right.
What if she's using ChatGPT to like post her stuff, and when you go sit down and talk with her, you're like, "Wow, this bitch is crazy."
Right.
You know, like, I wouldn't be friends with this human. Like, our energy doesn't mesh.
Right.
But you don't know that.
You don't know that. You don't.
have no idea.
So I like your answer to that. Yes and no, that has done good things, because I feel the same way, actually, that there are absolute benefits to it, and there are things that I cannot spell, but I'm a writer, and grammar, not a good thing, but I'm a writer. I've been writing since my first diary when I was 11, and I can't stop. And so I love it for that reason, right? I can fucking talk into it.
Makes your dream come to life.
Yeah. And you can be like, this is how you spell it.
Yeah.
I think the great part about it is, like,
This is like right now where we sit at this exact moment, we have access to literally everything. Like, you can learn anything you want to. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
But let's get into, I completely agree, but let's get into those posts, and I'm guilty of them, and I'm guilty of receiving the validation that I'm looking for. Those posts that are, I'm having a bad day, I need somebody to tell me it's going to be okay.
Right.
And I find that, especially on Facebook, and I don't know if this is true for everybody, but on Facebook, it's a lot of people I went to high school with. Like, and then, of course, there's smatterings of other areas of my life, but 90% of it is the town that I grew up in.
Okay.
And so they know multiple facets of who I am simply because of the growing pains we went through together.
Right.
And so when I post something about, my emotions or what I'm going through, they are so kind and so loving and so supportive.
Which is awesome.
It really is. It's awesome. And even those, girls that you didn't think you were friends with that have this great memory of you, that you were so funny, made me laugh. Remember this one time? It's like, oh, fuck, I don't. But thank you for making me feel good.
Right.
But then I shut the computer and they're not there. And then it's like, okay, I had that instant gratification.
Right.
I had that moment and it felt really good. And there is something that changed inside of me. There are new memories that I get to hold on to, but there's still nobody sitting next to me.
Right.
And that is a whole different dynamic, a whole different feeling. That is a whole different version of being pack animals that we absolutely still need. We need those people around us,
Yes.
even though getting that love from people who know the craziest side of me, is wonderful.
But that was your version before. That's
Right.
something now.
Right.
And you don't have the pack now.
Correct.
Right.
So,
Because they didn't grow with you for whatever reason, like
Right.
geographically or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Like they didn't come with you on your journey. Like your journey has been your journey.
yeah.
So here you are. And now you have to create your own new pack. Like surround yourself.
But how realistic is that at our
It is
age?
hard. It
Right.
is hard.
Right. Exactly.
Making adult friends is like ridiculous. There's speaking of memes. So
Yeah.
so I saw this one and it was like if adult women make friends like kids do, and it was this woman running down the street in her sweatpants and her slides, right? And she runs up to the door and she's pounding on the door. She's got a bottle of wine and the house, right? The husband answers the door and she's like, "Get Stephanie playing it." And her was like, "Hold on, let me check." And he yells up and he's like, "Stephanie, do you want to play with Nicole today?" And she's like, "Yes!" And she runs down the stairs, like almost falling down the stairs, puts her shoes on, and they run outside, skipping down the street with a bottle of wine. So, like, kids are so easy.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't realize at the time, you could walk up and be like, "Hey, nice shoes, you want to be my friend?" And you're like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And we're fine. We're like thick as thieves, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Can we do that?
I think we can. That's what.
Okay.
So,
So we're just going to start complimenting everybody's shoes.
well, I mean, think about how we became friends. It sparkled brain, and I was like,
We went to a glitter party.
she's funny. Let's be friends with her.
I want to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna text you tomorrow. And I literally did that with in 2018. I was going to codependent anonymous meetings. It's not so anonymous. Whoops. And, work through some shit. And I saw this girl at a meeting, and like 3 days later, I saw her in another meeting. And I watched her walk through the room, and I went, I want to be her friend. I'm not up and sat next to her, and I said, I'm Stephanie, and she said, I'm Laura. Different. Nobody knows Laura. It's still anonymous. And she became my best friend for that moment in time, and I fucking love her. But she moved, and whatever, life happens. But I don't think. Listen, it's never going to be Sex in the City. It's never going to be Friends. Like, who can afford that fucking apartment, right?
Valid.
But it doesn't mean it can be. Hey, what are you doing